Quick shout out to the audience, people who are watching this. Yes, we are doing on purpose the 2023 Y.E.S Awards this late. I apologize for this. This is something that I've been working on, but due to several excuses that none of you care about, and also just the way I've been working with getting my master's degree right now, it's just been kind of hectic in multiple aspects. But again, excuses that none of you want to actually hear. We're going to do the Y.E.S Awards now, and we are going to start by doing a couple of interesting categories. I believe the first category right now we're going to do is the wows. So I'm trying to think if I have a name for that exactly. Is it just the wows?
Was that something you would have sent me?
Yeah, not to you, I guess, there. But yeah, okay. And I will have special edits so that these videos look a little bit better when we have it rolling. But yeah, let's get into everything that we have right now. So we're going to start with the top 10 wow moments. So not the yeses, but wows. These are things that were kind of cool. Didn't quite make yeses, although some of them are just kind of momentary. And this is kind of one of the alternative positive lists that I am going to place here. So let's get to that. We'll start that off from the 2023 Y.E.S Awards, transitioning into Y.E.S Top 10 Wow Moments of 2023. So let's get into number 10. Number 10 is going to be the superb performance by Ronald Gladden in Jury Duty, which is kind of a quasi The Office and other kinds of capture in the moment kind of TV shows. So everyone in the TV show is an actor except this guy. This guy is the only person who doesn't understand that he's on camera. He knows he's on camera, but not for the same reasons. So he has to deal with all kinds of really weird things that take place in a trial, and it's just really funny, and he is so professional the whole time. It was awesome to watch. I don't remember who recommended me watch this, but I did give it a watch. It's on Amazon Prime. It was pretty funny and cringy at the same time, but somehow he pulled through it, and I just wanted to give him a shout out for being able to do that. It was, in fact, a wow moment.
So it was Truman.
Kind of, basically Truman, yeah. Number 9, we have Ian Tongi, and he wins American Idol. Again, I don't really care about the progression that American Idol makes right now. Ever since everyone kind of left, it's kind of not been the same for me. But when they revived it, quote unquote, it's still not something that I like all that much. But the fact that this young man, very young man from Hawaii, won it, I really liked the way that he just went about everything. He wanted to do things right by his, I think his dad was a big inspiration, and his family in general. It's just something that he really liked. He really wants to move back to Hawaii. He had to move out because of, priciness. And I just admired the way he went about the whole thing, and something that I wanted to share and showcase here. So number 9 right here. Good job on you, mate. So we got number 8. Who do we have here at number 8? Oh yeah, Jared Leto. He climbs the Empire State Building. Apparently it was a big desire for him. It was kind of cool. I think it might have been part of a promo in some way for the new album he and his 30 Seconds to Mars band did. Maybe it was unrelated, but it was something he's always wanted to do. He got permission to do it, and he did it. It was just kind of a neat thing. So wow to Jared Leto. All right, number 7. Oh yes, we have Kenneth Rooks in one of the track events. Doing this for BYU, he tripped while doing it, and I think got all the way back into last place because of his trip. But somehow he pulled through, he went forward, and he won his event. He somehow got all of the energy. I'm speaking as someone who does not like to run, like, at all. I like to kind of jog, and I still don't even like doing it outside. I'm someone who likes to do it on treadmills. I like biking outside, but I like running inside. But even then, running's very generous word for me. But Kenneth Brooks, my gosh, I don't know if you've seen it, but if you haven't, we should definitely watch it at some point. It's a miracle that he was able to win that event. But hey, determination, perseverance, he did exceptionally well. And shout out BYU. There you go. Yeah, that's one-sided. Okay, number 6, we have a lot of amazing b-boys just improving in power moves. Very specifically more toward the young guns that are going on right now. I want to say a couple of b-boys that would that are featured here. B-boy Tiger is one that is showcasing his power moves very well. Another we could highlight would be b-boy, I think it's Malish. I'm trying to remember. Yeah, b-boy Malish. Just power moves are going crazy. Let's see. Also, at there was a Banjo the Crash event. There was one of the Crash tournaments at Red Bull BC 1, and I believe it. Let's see. There were 2 b-boys that won. Let's see. B-boy Monkey King and b-boy Alexis. They both did really good jobs. A lot of cool power moves. B-boying is still going strong. We'll see how it does in the Olympics this year. Number 5. What do we got at number 5? Yes. Gamal Jones's audition at Britain's Got Talent. Probably, for me, the most impressive audition. There were others that I liked, and we'll get into that a little later, but Gamal Jones, I thought, had the most impressive vocal audition for Britain's Got Talent this year. If you haven't seen it already, go watch the video. It is an amazing, gives me goosebumps. The very first note, it's amazing. I just love the way that he executed it. All right, let's get into number 4, which is... Oh, yes. Matt Pracker, apparently for the Cardinals, had a record of number of kicks for the team. He's hit some very far distant kicks. Maybe in the NFL entirely, but definitely for the Cardinals. So he has a lot of record kicks that he was able to achieve that past year. So I just thought that's actually kind of an impressive feat. So good for him for being able to accomplish that. And, it's interesting because, kickers don't get a lot of time on the field, but it matters for when they get on there. So good for him for being able to accomplish that. All right, number 3 for wows. Okay, Anthony and Ian buy back Smosh. Now, I've always had kind of a guilty pleasure kind of relationship with this YouTube channel because this is a funny YouTube channel, but it's also really weird, a bit extreme sometimes, but Smosh went in weird directions when they started to do these additional partnerships, and these two finally, probably maybe a decade, I don't really have the numbers in front of me right now, but I know after a very long time, the two of them bought the YouTube channel back, and they're doing their quirky, weird videos again. Some I've enjoyed watching, some of them I'm like, oh yeah, it's this again. It's like charming, but weird. But am I happy? Yeah, I am, because no one can copy them. No one can be them. It's just a talent. All right, number 2 in the wows. Who do we have? Yes, there was a moment here where the Orioles and the Royals had a face-off where 16 pitches took place. I will, if anyone asks, I will link the video. It was bizarre to watch 16 straight pitches, a bunch of foul balls just going off and off and off and off. Yeah, it was bizarre to see that could actually happen nowadays. All right, and number 1 for wows of the year. Super Mario Brothers, they get some crazy box office records for animated movies, and a lot of people thought that couldn't be done anymore, and they probably didn't think that it could be done from somebody that wasn't a Disney studio movie. And yeah, they did well. And there's plenty of reasons to think that that's kind of an overrated thing to do, but it is actually an accomplishment. So just hats off to Illumination for putting this together and for putting forth something that people can actually enjoy. We'll see how great it is timeless-wise, but it is quite the accomplishment that I thought was worthy of notice.
It was entertaining, and I had doubts because it was Chris Pratt, but it's still different.
Yeah, it's pretty fun. All right. Well, straight with that, we're going to get into another list right now. So let's see. Yeah, going straight into the awards. Okay, we're going to go into the aw man moments of 2023. So not necessarily the worst of the worst, but they were kind of letdowns. And again, I don't try to include tragedies necessarily, but there is going to be one where you're going to think that maybe it's kind of on that edge, but I am going to explain why it is here. So let's get started with the top 10 aw-mans of 2023. First being at number 10, the transition with Twitter/X. Everyone has experienced this who has been involved in social media, and I'll admit I think the transition is kind of weird. I don't understand. I know why Elon Musk is doing the whole X thing because of his apparent fascination with that letter, but yeah, there's a lot of things that are going on with Twitter that I don't like. There's some things that I'm really happy about for Twitter because it is doing better things than other social medias in certain other aspects. But the reason it's an aw man is because of that divide. We all are kind of upset with certain things and then happy with other things. Maybe some of us are more upset and some of us are more happy, but it's this really great divide. We're not used to what's going on. I think Elon may have to change back some things for Twitter, and I think there's some things he should absolutely not change about it. The name X itself, that's always going to be a question. But now it has officially become X.com. So he did make the official transition. Are we ever going to not call it Twitter? I'm not really sure.
Yeah,
Probably not.
That's ever going to truly go away.
Yeah. All right, number 9. We've got R16. There was a push for an event to take place. This is a B-Boy crew event. I guess there's solo battles as well, but there was supposed to be a revive of this event, and it just didn't happen. B-Boy Dizzy, who helped create this event, really was kind of interested to seeing what was happening and then found out it wasn't going to happen. This is one of my favorite B-Boy events that was ever created ever, and I'm really sad that it's not being revived, so that's a reason why I have it here on the list. Good memories. All right, so number 8 in aw-mans. Chanel West Coast leaves ridiculousness. It's just...
Depriving us of her icon.
Yeah, she has other things she wants to do with her life. Good for her. I wish her luck with that. But yeah, ridiculousness. As funny as it will be, still, but a little piece. It's just no. Yeah, yeah. Sad to say. All right, number 7. Superhero movies in general this year. Not all, but most of them weren't leveling up to the expectations that we're used to. So that's just a reason to have them on here. I personally would say most of the superhero movies I thought were fairly disappointing. There are 2 that I think are above the fray, and I will talk about those a little later. We'll get to that point eventually. But I don't know if you have something you want to say about that.
I kind of agree with what you're saying.
Yeah.
There were only a couple that were actually good.
Yeah.
That was my opinion.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's get into the 6th point here. What do we got over here? Number 6. Yes. Jonathan Majors having all of his legal issues take place, which in turn is going to affect his career. And for those of us who care about the MCU still, that alters a lot of things. Because I have mostly positive things to say about what happened with Kong the Conqueror. I understand there's a little bit of a divide on that, but I thought it was potentially promising, but now it's like, it looks like that's not going to happen. So this is kind of a letdown, and yeah, it's just, I won't go into the guilty or not guilty portion of it. Just the whole thing is just kind of a mess. But yeah, that's one thing that happened that was a little disappointing. All right, at number 5, we have also Disney movies were a little disappointing. I did not see any of these movies actually because the marketing looked bad, except for The Little Mermaid. And I only saw it because a couple of my coworker friends said, "Oh, they actually liked it." So I went to see if their opinions were valid. They're not. It was by far the worst movie I saw last year. There's one other that is a very close competitor, But if I am being honest, because this is the most pointless movie that exists from last year, and so I can't justify in saying that that was good. But yeah, Disney has not been doing that great. I would be willing to give the other movies a shot at some point, but they couldn't draw me into the theater itself. So that's kind of a big L for me. And I don't think many of them did well financially anyway. So let's see. Oh yes, number 3, the strikes for at Hollywood, the writers, and also for the actors. Kind of a disruption for the latter portion of the year when it comes to film and other kinds of entertainment within that particular spectrum. Just something that it was a little hard to deal with. It was hard to be able to see them struggle through that, but at the same time, so many of us have also become slightly jaded with this portion of Hollywood, so we didn't feel it the same way as it has taken place in previous times. So it's kind of an aw man for everyone because we don't know what to think about it other than the fact that we do want them to be protected, and we would like for them to be able to get what they need in order to, put food on the table, keep a roof over their head. But Hollywood in general has to get their crap together, and this is just something that isn't working out well. All right, number 3, the injury for Jeremy Renner. It was really, really early in 2023, and I'm happy to hear that he is doing better, but it was a very scary shocker when at the very beginning of the year he got the injury. So thankfully, nothing major as far as I can tell, but yeah, we'll have to see how that goes moving forward, but we'll see him in other projects here in the future. Number 2, we have also the injury of Damar Hamlin for the Buffalo Bills. Very scary moment that happened to him while on the field. That game that they were playing against the Bengals was, I think, the only canceled game, one of the few canceled games that had happened in recent memory, and it was just kind of a shocker. Seems to be doing okay now. He was able to get over. They did CPR on him, did everything that they needed to, and I'm just glad that he's doing okay. But my goodness, what a scare that happened on the field during that time. And then at number 1 for this, we have the Titan submarine. And like I said, I don't like putting tragedies because people did die in this incident. The reason that this makes the list is because, and the reason that it is technically in the realm of entertainment, is because it is something that I feel people, we could blame the media, but probably people at large also are going to feel like they can't do adventures anymore. This is something that I heard from Andrew Clavin saying, something like this is going to kill the spirit of adventure in people. Like, we want to be able to explore other things, and accidents like this and the way that we talk about it doesn't help. It's a tragedy what happened to the people who did it. Again, you could talk about all the technicalities and maybe how poorly constructed or executed it actually had, but everything combined is something where, we still need to pursue these kinds of things, and it is fun to have these kinds of adventures, and I think that exploring the sea would be a great thing to do still, but apparently we have troubles with that. So that's the number 1 aw man for 2023 that we have here. So let me know what your thoughts are about that down below. So what is the next category that we've got? Oh, the top 10 AGT auditions of 2023. Yeah, a little bit more upbeat. So again, words auditions, not the acts that kept progressing. So I'm only going to talk about the auditions that impressed me. There were some other things that took place later down the road where people can change my mind, or maybe they had a terrible performance on the first live performance. Things can change. But yeah, I'm just going to talk about what happened in the auditions. So, starting off with number 10, we have Maria Andrea Villegas. Great dancer. I loved her. She had great charisma. There's just something about her that I just found infectiously adorable, and that's a good enough reason for me to support her. But she did, in fact, do a good job with her dancing, and I'm very biased toward dancers, but not so much on AGT for some reason. Like, you have to be a really good dancer to impress me on AGT. Yes, but if you and you have that whole stage you have to work with. So you have a lot that you can do, and you just need to pull it off. And I really liked what she could do as a solo performer. Number 9 for AGT auditions, we have the Minzani Youth Choir, which was really fun to be able to hear them. I liked the spirit that they carried. Another group that was inspired to come because of Nightbird's audition, so she had a lasting impact on many people, and they actually sang her song for the audition, which was pretty cool in itself, and they did get one of the golden buzzers. And I liked hearing what they had to do moving forward throughout the competition. So I really liked that audition, starting at number 9. Moving forward, with number 8, we have Gabriel Henrique, who I believe is from Brazil, had a really powerful vocal. I think he got the golden buzzer from Sofia Vergara, if I'm not mistaken. And there was a lot of drawback with the personality. He couldn't speak English, he had a translator, but I can't deny the power of his vocals, so that was the part that was impressive. What he did moving forward is kind of up and down, but it was something that I could tell, like, alright, yeah, that's talent right there. He has the voice that you can rely on if you wanted him to hit a particular note, so good for him making it here at number 8. Number 7 here, we have Avant Garde, a special dance group. A really, really good dance group that did incredibly accurate and precise choreography on stage. People should really look to them as the example for what you should be able to try and achieve on stage. If you are looking for accurate choreography, if you want to be in sync, this is the group you have to look toward. So Avant Garde really loved what they could do on stage. Number 6, we've got Magic Mike Jacobson. I enjoyed his magic. I will admit I am getting mildly jaded with magic tricks on AGT. There usually always tends to be at least one that's interesting, whether it wows you or it's like, all right, that was different, and I appreciate and respect that. So he's the one that I thought was kind of fun, at least in his audition, and just felt like I needed to give Magic Mike a shout out. So there we are. Let's go to number 5. Person we have here is Duo Just Two Men. I am getting more and more interested by, what do you call this again? Contortions. Like, more and more people are auditioning for them on AGT, and I think it's fantastic. I don't have enough knowledge or way to critique it necessarily. I just know when I see something that seems to be well executed and something that seems like it was difficult and can't be done maybe by another group or duo or individual. And I thought that they did a really good job. Their shoulders were super broad and they pulled it off really well. All right, number 4. We've got Aaron Belisol. My gosh, I'm sorry if I butchered that. But Aaron, he did his comedy act, and I loved it. It was awesome to see him being able to do comedy through his phone, and he actually got the timing really well with jokes like that. I think Howie mentioned that, and I was like, yeah, that's accurate, actually. He doesn't need to just say funny things. He has the timing correct for what a comedian kind of needs with the audience. So we got Aaron here at that spot. All right, number 3, Timothy Fletcher. I really liked his drum act. There's something rhythmic and amazing about how he was able to use his drumsticks in ways that you typically wouldn't see in a full drum line. But having one person do it, he pulled it off really well, and just wanted to shout him out for being an impressive individual for being a drummer. All right, number 2, we've got Duo Desiree. So another contortion group. Did a couple of things that were a tad different. And I just again, another group that I thought was sufficiently impressive, and wanted to let them know what they did a good job. And at number 1, we have Adrian Stosha and Hurricane, the dog. The best dog act I have ever seen on any TV show ever. Hurricane knew exactly what she was doing, and Adrian had just trained her in the right moments to be able to pull off the way that every act wanted to go. So just great job. I did struggle to figure out if this should be my number one, but I had to be honest with myself and think to myself, yeah, this is the one that I had fun watching, and just the mastery of being able to train a dog that well. It's just really good. So there you go. Top 10 AGT auditions. I know things happen probably differently there, but it's what I liked. So there we are. So what we got for the next one. All right, I think we got, top 10 movies of 2023. And Tanner, I'm going to let you talk about this as well, but let's get going with what I have for the 10th spot. I am going to go with The Boy and the Heron anime movie. Very interesting, very deep in other ways. I am trying to understand more anime movies because they have a beautiful animation appeal to them, obviously. Story-wise, there are things to understand on a deeper level because a lot of times these anime movies don't tell a completely straightforward story. There's a lot of symbolism to it, and this is one that had a bit of that, but I know that I respected it enough to have it on the list here. We've got 9. We've got the Super Mario Brothers movie. I saw this with my adopted grandma, and even though she didn't get anything, she didn't ask questions either. It's like, why is this mushroom here? Why is this star so powerful? Oh, she didn't really ask questions. She kind of just went with it. But she did say, this animation is amazing. How did they do this? And I was just like, yeah, it's true. I'm noticing that too. But the fact that she can notice it was something that impressed me as well. And I was just like, it actually is pretty good. It's pretty good. Illumination did a good job with this. So I had to put it at number 9 here. Number 8 for me, I've got The Boys in the Boat. A pretty, not exceptionally, high level, story for being rowers, but it was actually in fact a good story, being also a competition that took place during the Nazi Germany era. I don't think it really happened. I think it happened before the war, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong, but yeah, a lot of obstacles they had to overcome, and it was a movie that was worth making, just probably not one that I can see a lot of people saying needed to happen. But I think it was a good enough story to be able to check out, and it was one of my more memorable theater experiences. That's why it's here at number 8. All right, let's go to number 7. Gran Turismo.
Yes.
Yep, this was fun. I remember seeing the trailers for this and thinking, I know I'm not completely in the racing bandwagon, but ever since Ford v Ferrari, I started kind of wanting to check this out more and more. But I was very cautious about this because Gran Turismo is technically based off of a video game. Yeah, but the movie itself is not a video game. It's just, it's got its relationship to people who played Gran Turismo wanting to become real racers. So there is that, and all performances all around. Liked it. Orlando Bloom, and help me with the name. Yeah, Arbor did great. Hopper. Just great job all around. Very happy, very surprised that we could see this. And I think we got an early viewing of this, if I'm not mistaken, because I think it came out a couple weeks officially later. We got to see a special preview of it, from what I remember.
I can't remember, but I'll go.
Yeah. All right, number 6. 80 for Brady.
Yes.
By far the funniest movie of last year. This is not this is not the greatest movie ever made, in so many aspects, but my gosh, was it fun. This is so much fun, watching these 4 ladies of another era that are still alive. Just being able to pull this off, I had so much fun watching it. It's ridiculous. It's not necessarily amazing, but it is at the same time.
Great performances, awesome celebrity cameos.
Yes, a lot of great cameos. It's a movie I can rewatch, and I'm still laughing. I've watched it at least 3 times now.
I've probably watched it same.
Yeah, so just so much fun. 80 for Brady, underrated movie from last year. Okay, number 5, I've got Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. I knew a lot of people who didn't want to see this movie because there was supposedly animal cruelty, and I guess in a way, you could argue that, but not really, because those aren't real animals. But the main thing is, like, this is one of those exceptions to superhero movies I found from last year that I really liked, and something that I think other people could actually say, like, you know, good things came out of this movie. And Chris Pratt actually pulled off his performance as Star-Lord way better than in times in the past. He actually kind of owns it up, and he's kind of an actual hero in this movie. Rocket did really well. All the performances were really fun. But yeah, it's a Marvel movie that's actually decent in the era that we're currently living in right now. So moving on to number 4. We've got Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. Probably one of the most bizarre animated movies I have ever watched ever. The Into the Spider-Verse movie was very fun, and it was a movie that I was not sure how I felt about going into it, because I knew the animation was going to be a little bit different, but it did grow on me. This one is even more bizarre animation-wise than that one. So much craziness, and yet I was okay with how it happened. I'm okay with the way that what we got. Now, there is stuff to be had still, but that comes with the next one coming up. And so that, if it hadn't been for that, maybe this movie would have been higher for me. But hey, number 4. Yeah, kind of. Well, a couple of other small things. Like, they're not really big gripes, but they're just things that, like, I want more. So if not, this movie would be higher. But it is number 4.
And with the cliffhanger at the end coming, I kind of started to realize it. And I was like, wait a minute, there's not enough time for this.
Yes.
For this to wrap up.
This is like resolution, vindication.
Still stuck in the ground.
Yeah. So, stuff like that. Alright, so number 3, I've got Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1. And I know some people are probably going to think, Garrett, that seems a little high for this movie. Personally, I don't think so. I think this movie for me was really fun. No, it's not as good as Fallout, but it had a lot of action to it. Tom Cruise is still able to pull this off. Now, I am going to say, after this one, when Part 2 comes around, I am going to say, dude, you need to retire this character. Not because he can't do it anymore, but because if he does, in fact, do another one after Part 2, then it's going to seem like he's going to basically die in that movie. But, oh my gosh, I had so much fun watching this scene. So many interesting characters, a couple of interesting twists that I didn't expect, and they're still trying to keep it as thrilling as Mission Impossible can be. So that's why I respect it enough to put it here at number 3. And number 2, we've got Godzilla -1. And for everyone out there, I love Godzilla. However, I have not delved too deep into the movies of the black and white era moving into now. I've watched a couple of other Godzilla movies. I grew up watching the Godzilla TV show that was on Fox Kids. I really like that one. I know it's not the same. It's a little bit different of a story, but I do have a love for Godzilla in that way. But this movie, holy fetch. Now, technically, at number 2, I do think this movie should be number 1 because it is the best in so many aspects, and not a lick of English in it either, which is saying something for me. My gosh, normally movies like this would annoy me because I don't like reading subtitles when I watch movies, but it wasn't that hard to follow along with it, and you knew exactly what was going on with the human characters, and I cared about it so much. Yes, this movie is amazing. It is a yes movie for sure, but there is a reason it's not number 1, and I'll explain that when we get to number 1, which is, in fact, number 1 is Sound of Freedom. The reason I have Sound of Freedom at number 1 is, 1, it is a good movie. It has great direction, a lot of amazing set pieces, great acting, and third, and this is the one where I know that it can get a little dicey with some other people, but this is a movie that had a message that actually is worth it. It is something that everyone ought to agree on. Some people don't have the same sentiment about it for really clouded, shady reasons for some reason, and yet I'm okay with that because this is a movie that has a message that is vitally important, and some people see it as a very dark movie, and it is. It's very dark, but the result of the heroism that takes place in it is the vindication of what actually needs to take place, and all of these additional sad things that I don't know what I can and can't say on YouTube regarding the devastation that takes place. And YouTube's getting way more touchy about the things that they can say, so I'm being careful about what I can say.
But I need to. It hasn't happened.
Yeah. But yeah, since it is a good movie and the message is just beyond amazing, that's why I have it at number 1. Godzilla Minus One has every right to be number 1, but this movie just edges it out for a sentimental reason. So these are the 2 best movies definitely of last year, in my opinion. So there you go. All right, we've got a couple other categories that we're going to get into. Let's see what else we got. I have this scale. I still don't know what we're calling this, but it involves there's a center for entertainers to be in, and then there's the spectrum of being overrated, underrated, overhyped, and underhyped. And then there's just the center, if people are rated and hyped appropriately. So there's a lot of things to be had with that, and Tanner has a list of moments, entertainers, and trends and other things. Maybe there will be some things that come up into my mind. I think I may have just had one recently, and I'll save that one to the last because it's probably the most controversial one. But let's see what you have on there. I am going to kind of try to relax a little bit while doing this because my voice is shot. So I'm just going to put these on and rest my eyes a little bit. And I'm also going to have one of my drink that is non-alcoholic, by the way. So Tanner, tell me, what do I have on this list? Give me some sort of random order of the things that we have on here, and I'll tell you if where I think they lie on this interesting spectrum that I've created.
All right, let's start with LeBron James retirement rumors.
Well, see, it's overrated from his point of view. And it's probably overrated from the broadcaster's point of view. When LeBron James does in fact retire, it is going to be a big deal. No matter how anybody else feels about him, it's going to be a big deal in some way. But because it's he's doing this kind of in a way that's teasing. But I will say, because of the way that he did it at the ESPYs, because he basically said, "Thank heavens for the rest of you, I'm not retiring yet." That's not exactly how he said it, but that's basically what he said. And so it's like, I have to give him, this is an overrated thing, because he's basically just gotten so arrogant at this point. So that's where I have to put him.
Okay, let's go to another one. We will go with Doja Cat. She Devil IG.
Let's see. It's Doja Cat for what thing?
It says She Devil IG.
Oh, Instagram. Okay. That just is talking about the song. Yeah, the song that she had. Yeah, that's an overrated song. So that one's pretty easy. It was utilized. A lot of songs that are on Instagram get a little bit overused. Not all of them. I can't blame them if people like their songs, but there's some that do get in fact overused. So that one, I'm going to say, yeah, that one's overrated. What?
Beyonce. Sorry.
Beyonce. Oh, I wrote her about the Grammys because I think she won an award in a category that typically she wouldn't win in, and because it made her the most winning Grammy artist of all time, I think at that point. Yeah, overrated, because a lot of these recent awards she's been winning don't make sense for her, and the Beyonce love is blind. And I'm not talking about the Bayhive necessarily. I'm talking about like Hollywood and the entertainment industry at large. I think they're just sucking up to her at this point, and they're just saying a whole bunch of stuff. Like, I don't know how much of it, like, she doesn't really overhype herself necessarily. Kind of everyone else does it for her, to be honest.
Yeah, she doesn't have to.
But yeah, people, yeah. So that, again, that one's definitely in the overrated category.
Aaron Rodgers. I actually don't know how I feel about him right now, so I'm very interested in what you
So what I mean by Aaron Rodgers is talking about his situation, because he was still with the Green Bay Packers, and then he was in that scenario where he was potentially going to get traded or move on to the Jets. And that whole scenario, that entire summer, I found very annoying. So I'm not saying overrated to Aaron Rodgers, but I guess overhyped because the whole scenario. So I will say the scenario was overhyped because it's like, okay, stay with Green Bay or don't stay with Green Bay. One way or the other, make a decision, or let Green Bay make a decision. Like, give them free range to make a decision. It's just it's too undecisive.
Yeah.
And I know I can be like that in some scenarios, but I know it's dumb. So yeah, I'll say overhyped for that one.
I think I know what your opinion is for this one. Miley Cyrus, Flowers.
Overrated. It's not the worst sounding song ever, but it is a song that I think, like, why do people like this so much?
Used on TikTok a lot.
Used on TikTok a lot, and as I've told you this recently, it sounds way too much like that other Bruno Mars song, where I'm just like, and maybe the internet has heard this, but I haven't heard anyone else say this. It sounds way too much like that Bruno Mars song. So I'm like, am I the only one who hears this? I have not heard one other professional entertainer comment that the chord progressions sound exactly like that, and they both use the word flowers in the song. Anyway, yeah, overrated.
Alright, let's see here. We got running back paid complaints.
Oh, so the running backs in the NFL. That is just an interesting scenario because of, I think maybe it had something to do with the cap on money. So running backs are just trying to find a way to get their own money. But the NFL is... I have no idea what that's...
Somebody's interrupting us.
Oh.
Or something.
Yeah, okay, no, someone's trying to give me a call. Sorry about that. But, yeah, running backs. So NFL are kind of realizing, or maybe not even the NFL itself, but like the owners of each individual franchise, they're realizing that they don't need to pay running backs because of the efficiency necessary. They can always just draft a new one. And so running backs are trying to find a new way to be able to get money while they're still viable, I guess. So the running backs themselves, I'm not overrating, but the conversation started getting overrated. So I'm going to say overrated in the conversation of it. It got way too much drama took place.
Next up, we have Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift rumors. Is it Kelsey or Kels? I'm pretty sure
Kelce.
it's
Travis Kelce. So,
I'm uneducated.
that... Okay, so we're talking specifically about the romance. I will go overhyped, but like barely, because it was just like they were teasing it too much. Like I'm perfectly okay with them dating. That didn't bother me. It was like it was at the beginning. Is that are they? Aren't they? Will they? Won't they? Like that part was like that's annoying. Just say you're dating or not. So like slightly overhyped. So there we go.
If it works out, then great. They have family, all that good stuff. If it doesn't, we'll be hearing a song about him from Taylor.
Yep.
I just made so many Swifties angry.
And you probably did.
Alright, let's see what we got done here. Have I asked you about Lamar Jackson yet?
No, you asked me about Aaron Rodgers. So Lamar Jackson was also trying to get payday for himself for a new contract. The problem is Lamar Jackson doesn't have an agent. It's his mom that does all the negotiating for him. And so it got really annoying, and Lamar Jackson, there were so many different football players and quarterbacks more specifically that started one-upping each other with how much money they were going to get paid. So new record contracts, and Lamar Jackson's got just way too annoying. And the Ravens are just such a well-run organization. I'm on days where I root for them and other days where I don't. And Lamar Jackson's just got so annoying to me. So, yeah, I think that was an overrated situation. I'm just like, okay, good for him. He got money. But now I'm questioning, like, is it going to be worth it in the end? So I don't necessarily, I don't have anything against Lamar Jackson necessarily, but that scenario did not make me want to root for him. So there's that.
And then I'm pretty sure I know what your answer is going to be for this one. Prince Harry and Meghan Markle.
Yeah, again, they got a little annoying. They were not in the limelight as much this past year as they were before, but they did get in there, and it's just like, okay, anything that they say at this point is overrated. So it's just like, can you two just shut up and have the privacy that you supposedly want? Just go and have quiet lives and don't be pretend royals anymore. So there we go. Thing that I did not watch. By nature, I want to say overrated in general. Again, because I don't believe that these TV shows, Bachelor, Bachelorette, Golden Bachelor, any of this stuff, none of it's real. So I don't care. Like, this feeds lies into women's brains. So I'm just like, go and have real romance stories. Or, go watch at least, what's that one rom-com? It's not even a rom-com, it's just a romance. The one that I actually like. A Walk to Remember. Like, just go watch that. Like, that's a more realistic romance than some of this other stuff. So, yeah. Overrated.
Let's see here. Referee complaints.
It was another thing in the NFL. The NFL had a lot of issues that I didn't like necessarily this year. Yeah, I'll say. Well, let's see. It depends on what perspective you're looking at this from, because it got. I mean, I guess the complaints from the referee. I guess it's either right on the dot or mildly overrated, because complaining about the refs isn't. It just gets old after a while. But if there's enough of it at the same time, it's like, hey, if there are enough complaints, let's address this. And it seems like we're just always talking about refs in the postseason. It's starting to just get a little annoying. So again, depending on which perspective, it's either right on the dot or it's a little overrated.
Alright, let's see. Let's do Flowers Instagram.
Oh, that's still Miley Cyrus, so I think we did that. Yeah, so, okay. I think I did put that on there twice, so sorry about that.
Yeah, you did. That's okay, though. Let's see. We also have Twitter becomes X.
From what perspective?
I mean, I honestly don't have a problem with it. I don't really care. I think the X logo looks kind of cool.
I think the logo looks cool.
I'm happy that we don't have to necessarily be so careful about what we say on Twitter anymore, that there's not so much censorship anymore.
Mm-hmm.
But I didn't use it that much before. I don't use it that much now. I'm still on it.
Yeah, but you don't use that. You're very picky about what social media platforms you use. For me, it's like, I guess I can. It's a short break, and I'm bringing the new camera over here. This happens a lot when we record a lot, so let's move on. What we were talking about X.
Yeah.
I guess. I mean, the complaints. If we're talking about the complaints of Twitter X, it's another one of those things where they're either on the dot or they're slightly overrated, because there's so many things about it that that's okay. There's certain things about it that were a bit much, but there's also some things where it's like, just let it be what it is. So that one's a mixed one for me.
All right. Let's see. Barbenheimer.
As a whole, on the dot. I like the idea that those two could compete against each other.
Two
yes.
very different things.
Yes.
But yeah.
Oppenheimer was a far better movie. It was far better, but it was interesting to see the summer where people could maybe go do a double feature and watch both, or which one was going to make more money. Barbie sadly made more money, but Oppenheimer got all of the awards.
And people got really into it too. Like,
yeah.
I think it was when we went and saw Asteroid City, and we saw all these people in the restaurant near the theater wearing like pink shirts and stuff like that.
Some interesting things happened, but yeah, no, I think that was good for the summer, to be honest. So it was kind of on the dot. I would have mixed feelings for the movies individually, but the event itself was probably good. And there is an interesting factoid about maybe wanting to do more of that, other movies that could compete against each other, but that's natural. Like, we don't have to fabricate these things in a certain way. This one just kind of happened, and we kind of all accepted it. And I was kind of okay with that and enjoyed the process of how it came to be. And it was funny because, Barbie and Oppenheimer seem like complete opposites in movies in some ways. So, yeah, so we have that.
All right, let's see. We only got a couple more here.
Okay.
I have Barbie listed on here again. Is it supposed to be here twice?
Probably not.
All right, so we'll move on.
The song. There was a lot of Instagram things with
Barbie. Yeah, it says Instagram pink.
Yeah, so people did overuse the Barbie thing. again, it's overrated, but it's by a little bit. It got old after a while, but it wasn't the worst thing that people ever posted. But yeah, mildly overrated.
Threads.
The thing that Instagram created to compete against Twitter, yeah, that's overrated. No. So people use it, but let's be honest, no one really promotes their threads. Like, people can still use it if they want to, but no one's actually like, hey, have you caught me on Threads? No one does that. So, overrated.
Let's see. The Instagram dance song.
Oh yeah, that was fun. So that one's on the dot. It was used in a couple of weird, bizarre scenarios. Dun 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 dun. Like, that was fun. It was weird in a couple of instances, but it was fun. I'm glad that it happened.
Yeah. Grimace milkshake.
Oh yeah, the McDonald's Grimace milkshake. Sadly, I did not get to try this. I wanted to and never got around to it. But the videos were hilarious. They were so funny. I'm so happy that people created bizarrely weird videos with the Grimace milkshake. It was so funny. So yeah, right on the dot. I'll give them that.
And then last thing here on the list, Roman Empire.
Oh, that's overrated. Just like, hey, how often do you think of the Roman Empire? What a stupid question to ask everyone. And everyone apparently had like, oh, I think about it all the time. No, you don't.
Yeah, nobody does.
You don't. Oh my gosh, it's so silly. Like, sure, occasionally I'll think about the Roman Empire. Like, now I'm playing into it.
I think about it if I watch Night at the Museum.
Yeah, like there's very specific things like, oh yeah, Roman Empire. It's just like, how often do you think about it? Like it's a habit? No, it's not a habit of thinking of the Roman Empire. What a stupid thing to participate in. Anyway, that was just an internet fad where I'm just like, this is stupid, get over it. But yeah. Anyway, that was the last one?
Yep, that was it.
Alright, cool. Well, that's 2023 for you guys. Fun, I guess. Not sure when this is beginning or ending, but of all the lists together, let me know what things you thought were fun. Overrated, underrated, overhyped, underhyped, on the dot. Who knows? Let me know. 2023. We're exclusive into that right there. So, get your yes. See you next time. Ciao.